And say, welcome to Plugged In at Chatham-Kent, your business podcast brought to you by Economic Development. I'm Andrew. I work in Economic Development at Communications here. And I have a very special guest who, for the first time, I think since episode 1, I'm going to introduce. So normally I pass it over. But I'm going to introduce you because I went on, come on computer.
Oh no.
He's going to use technology and it's not going to work. I went on and read your bio.
Oh boy. Yeah. Which one? There's so many outdated bios out there.
Okay, but check this out. You are Yvonne Pilon.
Yes.
A young professional passionate about technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship, and putting Windsor, Essex, and Chatham-Kent on the map at age 24. You founded your first company. Add to it. You're the only person that says it right. Thank you. By the age of 29, you became the youngest female to lead the Regional Innovation Center, which is part of WEtech, which you're the president and CEO of.
Yes.
And then there is quite literally a 2 or 3 more.
It's a little bit. That's my dated one, but that's pretty good. You've basically summarized me. Tech.
It keeps going. There's so much
everything.
Volunteering, technology. World domination.
Yeah.
Look at it just keeps going.
No. Very involved and a huge passion of technology, and you'll read if you read on a lot. Really involved in youth retention.
Mm-hmm.
As I know, it's a topic of interest here in Chatham. As I saw so many of my friends leave the area, and at a younger age, I'm not that old yet, but I really was like, how do we storytell? How do we encourage more young people to stay here? So that's kind of my second passion, I guess.
I wish you had been at the women's event on Tuesday. Yeah. It was so good, and I had several people come up to me say, so I left Chatham-Kent and I've just come back, and it was...
And they're coming back, and I think you guys actually have a comeback, or was it...
Comeback, back to CK.
So you guys have done a great job. So yeah, I mean, people leaving is not a bad thing, but the goal is to get them back, or, at least to... If they are going to leave, let them leave with all this knowledge of the great things happening in your community, so they can become advocates for your city or region.
Ambassadors.
So, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The more the merrier.
So, I'm going to start off with a really hard question of what is WEtech?
Oh, what is WEtech?
Since you're the president and CEO.
Yeah, exactly. This is a hard one. No. So WEtech is a regional innovation center. What is that? You're going to hear me say the word RIC. So the province, almost 10 years ago, developed this really world-class network called the Regional Innovation Center Network. They created 17 innovation centers across the province, Windsor being one of them. The next one up to 401 is in London, and then you have the larger centers like Communitech, Mars, Invest Ottawa. There's a lot in the DTA, but the mandate there was really to build this, this innovation network in the province to help tech companies start, grow, and succeed. So really a big economic development play in that. And again, our goal is to create new jobs, create new companies, keep them in Ontario, and really, again, help build the future economy and help build Ontario and Canada as this leading innovation technology network.
One of the things we chatted about, and I know others in your organization chat about, is scaling up, right? Like the need to not just be that, and there's nothing wrong with a small business, but to look at scale up. Do you want to talk a bit about scale up, or am I hitting you with another question you were totally unprepared for?
No, this is okay. It's okay. I laugh. Just to backtrack a little bit too, because WEtech's part of this network, but our mandate is, just like I said, to help companies start, grow, and succeed. That's our core mandate. That's why the government provides funding to our agencies. But as we've seen this network mature, we hear this word scale up. In fact, in Toronto this week, it was momentum. That's what we're calling it, momentum. So it's going to change. And that's really just it's really focusing on how do we take these companies from 200, maybe 20 employees to 100 to 200 employees. So a great example of scaling up is, our Canadian unicorn Shopify, right? You have a company that started out of Ottawa that's now this literally monster Canadian company, and they stayed in Canada. What we see is we start these great companies, and then they're either acquired by U.S. companies or they're moving to the Valley, they're moving to New York, Seattle, wherever. So there's a huge push across the province and country to help these companies scale, help them get past that hurdle that gets past the 20 employees to the 100 to 200, and also to keep them planted here in our community. So there's a lot of push, a lot more energy and resources needed to help those scaling companies. Again, you're not just competing against your neighbor, you're competing against, Japan, Asia, you're competing against the US. I mean, the competition is so much stronger. So scaling means, resource at the right time. It means funding at the right time. We have to keep these companies, the capital funneling into them in order to scale. And we also have to teach companies, traditionally, I think when we ask companies, what's your exit strategy? Everyone would answer, I want to be acquired by Google. I want to be acquired by Microsoft. We have to change that thinking in Canada, whereas we shouldn't necessarily be teaching our companies to focus on that exit. The exit really should be, how do we keep you growing and keep you, employing? I go back to Shopify because they're such an amazing company that has truly stayed Canadian. I mean, yes, they're expanding into the US and, they've now launched offices in Toronto and in Waterloo. And who knows, I mean, they're building this logistic network. So I think Chatham-Kent to Windsor, Essex, Toby, if you're listening, we have a wonderful gateway to the US market here in our regions.
We talk about that all the time in economic development, that business retention and expansion, right? Yeah. That need to say, okay, so you get your headquarters here. If you go and start another operation in, say, the state, the US, or other countries, that's fine. But let's keep that core here. How do we make it even more business friendly, right?
And I think in economic development, and I know this has been the case for probably decades, is we're always looking to bring in that unicorn, right?
Sure.
Which is still a good strategy, but let's look at our communities and go, how many companies could scale? So where does the effort focus to? And I think we're starting to see the focus start, shifting on how do we scale these existing companies who are already doing good? Amazing. How do we get them to do greater, right? So, and I think you are seeing that shift happen in economic development. But let's not forget, and this is something I get concerned about, is we're going to focus so much on scaling. We're not going to focus on the bottom of the pyramid, which is still those early stage entrepreneurs, those kids that come out with ideas and build companies. So there are multiple elements, right? There's the enterprise side of things, there's the scale-ups, and then there's those early stage companies. We have to ensure that we provide resources at all levels. Otherwise, we're gonna tip over and we'll have no pipeline. So that's not good.
No, you've got to. It's amazing for me to see so many great ideas that are coming forward. And this has been, I'm sure it's been happening for a very long time, but I'm 1 year into Chatham-Kent economic development. And so to see these new ideas that are bubbling up and getting maybe some insider on it is so exciting. And so I'm trying to tell everybody's story all at once.
No, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Okay, back to WEtech. WEtech Alliance.
That's okay.
I'm going to shorten it. It's going to be WEtech.
Yeah, so, WEtech works for me.
If you Google it, it still works. It works out. What are some of the services? What sort of things are you helping with?
Sure. So we 3 pillars. I try to, as an entrepreneur, your storytelling is so important. So I try to work on our storytelling as well. So number 1 is that tech acceleration. So helping tech companies start, grow, and succeed. In that, there is a whole list of programs that we offer. I encourage anyone listening to want to learn more about us. You can go to www.wetech-alliance.com. We've tried to make our website user-friendly to understand what we do and how to access those resources. But when we talk about growing companies, it differs, right? A med tech company is different than an app company, right? An app can be developed overnight. A cancer drug or a medical technology could take years to get FDA approved. So we know every industry requires different kind of services. So most importantly, I think in our network, you will meet with Adam Castle, who is our Director of Venture Services. So I'll kind of guide you through the process. If you're a tech or innovation company, we focus on working with companies that have that scaling ability. So we want to work with companies that are working on a tech innovation project or company that has that potential to grow outside of our regions, right? We want the next to work with the next Shopify. We want the next Tesla. So we want to work with companies that have that ability. So they'll come into our pipeline. Our services are almost all free. You'll meet with Adam Castle and you'll put together what we call 30, 60, 90-day plans, so long as you fit the criteria to work with us. And that 30, 60, 90-day plan will basically, again, plan your next 90 days. and we'll kind of guide you through your pain points and where you want to be in the next 90 days. And then once we see that, we'll then plug in the resources. So maybe you need a better understanding of your sales pipeline or marketing or communications or strategy, or you're at the point where you're trying to pitch to investors and you need to learn about how to pitch to investors and how to put together a pitch deck. So we'll align our programming and our venture service team, which is a group of, I think there's over 50 now. I'd have to go on the website and actually count. But these are people that either volunteer their time or kind of contracted on our behalf to help you. So we know we're not experts. We're a very small team. We can't be experts at blockchain, fintech, agtech, autotech. So we try to leverage this network of people both in the regions as well as Toronto and across the world. So we try to kind of build this army of advisors to help you grow your businesses.
And I've got to say, you've been doing an amazing job doing that. Like the experts that you're bringing in, we for some of the war rooms, and we haven't talked about that, but some of the experts you've brought down to those small group sessions.
Thank you.
Are
And I say, as any boss would say, you hire smarter people than you are. So I've got an amazing team, and Adam Castle leads that, and he's got a huge portfolio to lead. Yeah. We work with over 200 companies every year. So he does a great job at building in. And what I like to say, too, is not only are we creating economic development from the companies that create those jobs, think about all the contract people we're bringing in on the VST that we're now a pipeline for them for customers. So it's like economic development in a second, kind of a second degree.
Absolutely.
So I do have to say that Adam's done a great job at building that VST network, and it's really helped our company. So that's kind of the first thing we do, is helping those companies grow. And I could literally be here for about 20 more minutes talking about all the programs. But advisory services to me is like, again, that person to talk to help guide you through market intelligence. We have access to these amazing market research reports for free from our Rick in Toronto called Mars. We have access to reports. Some of them are worth $40,000 in terms of gaining insight into your marketplace. And then just access to the network. The government can be difficult to navigate. I think that's fair to say.
I think that's not a political statement. That's just in general.
But I think the government even knows that.
Absolutely.
The government's trying to work with companies at all levels better. So I think for us, a lot of us have been in this space for a decade. I've been in this space for over a decade. It's navigating. We want to make sure that your time is utilized the best. So come to us and let us connect you with this grant opportunity that's going to be best suited, because we never want someone to go down this path and waste all this time when they could be selling their product. I mean,
Absolutely.
Really. So that's kind of we're connectors, right? I'm sure you feel the same way in your role.
Yes.
Sometimes your biggest asset is not what you capture from your impact. It's all these little connections you make with these entrepreneurs and these businesses. The second piece of WEtech is the tech talent pipeline. We're seeing more and more that companies can't grow without talent. Talent is like your bloodline of your company. So we're trying to get more involved in engaging the tech community, hence why we do things here like Tech Night, to try to get the tech community out to better understand their needs, let them network. We're involved with First Robotics, which I know we have a high school team and some First Lego League teams here in Chatham. Actually, this region is one of the fastest growing FIRST communities in Canada. There's over 80 teams now in this portfolio in Chatham-Kent and Windsor-Essex. So there's this amazing pipeline. We do things like Tech Week coming up in October, so October 21st to the 26th. It's our third annual Tech Week, and it's really just a week to talk about tech, to engage tech community, to champion, to promote all these amazing things that are happening in Windsor-Essex and Chatham-Kent. So I'm excited this year. Actually, we've expanded to Chatham-Kent. I'll give it all to Andrew. He's the one that really helped prompt this. But and I have to say, you have been an amazing partner to work with, and also kind of nudging us to ensure that we're out here more often. So, but we are excited. In fact, that's part of our press release that we hopefully are going to push out in the next couple of days, is again that it's Tech Week has kind of expanded to Chatham-Kent with a few activities. So I
am so thrilled that you're bringing down the Canada Codes group and the Learning to Code, and specifically, is it called Women's Learning to Code?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Canada Learning Code is an amazing organization. It's a federal organization led by a woman named Melissa, who I know and I follow. She's amazing. She started this amazing movement. They have a Code Mobile, and the Code Mobile its mandate is to travel across the country. So there's different chapters. The chapter that services our region, I think, is in Kitchener. But you can actually, as an educator, go onto their website and request a visit to your school. And I always say a lot of teachers don't know this. Yes. Okay, so you can. It's called the Code Mobile. They also do teacher cons, I think is the name, and where they come in and they try to teach teachers to then bring it back to their classroom. Okay. Obviously, there's limited resources, so they can't come to every school. But which is one of the nice things about Tech Week is that we can partner with Code Mobile and give them a week of activities to leverage. So in this case, they're first stopping in Chatham-Kent on the Tuesday, October 22nd. Yes. 22nd? Yes. Right, yes.
I was just bragging about this.
Tuesday, October 22nd.
Yes.
We are hosting 2 sessions. They're both branded Lady Learning Code, although no discrimination if you're a man or kind of a later teen between the ages of 12 or 17, or you're an experienced coder, have a little bit of knowledge, you can come out to these events. So the first session is 12 to 3, and that is our intro to
HTML and CSS.
Yep. You do not need any experience. I've taken this course before. Literally, I do know a little bit, but it's meant for people with zero expertise. So women especially can be intimidated by technology. So I encourage anyone listening or anyone know that someone looking to get into coding, there's something so empowering when you finish this course and you've coded a website. Yes. And you can see all this, zeros and ones that you've put together, and they're building out an image or a graphic or whatever it is. So I can't say enough about this thing. If you don't have a computer, they have computers for you. So it really is. It's free. There's laptops available, and there's people facilitating it.
Before you move on, I think from the small business or the business perspective, what I love about this is that so many people say to other companies or other people or their cousin or whatever, just build my website and whatever, and then they get it and they're never quite 100% happy, but they don't have the skills to even make simple changes. This gives you that opportunity to go in and say, okay, I get the basics of HTML. So if you're using Squarespace or a something website, you
can look at the code.
You can look at it and make those little changes without breaking your website.
And nowadays, it's not like before where you hired a web developer and it cost you $30,000 to have a website. You can literally today start a website in a few hours with all of these services out there. And I mean, now you've got Shopify plugins. I mean, building your as a providing online resources or online selling is easier than it's ever been, right? Absolutely. It's so easy now to sell outside of your region with all of these tools and to be online. And as something as you're going to hear more and more, is if businesses do not embrace technology, they will be left behind. You can't say no to technology no matter what company you are. Everything is from the see how you're taking payments, down to the connectivity, down to the systems you're using to track your customers. Everything is so, tech is enabling every business. So it's super important that we build those skills, and you don't need to be a full-blown coder. It's just having a little bit of knowledge helps you understand and likely maybe help you along the way to alleviate having to always go to a larger company. So
sorry, I just wanted to jump in and
listen, that's good.
There's such a I don't want to be intimidating. HTML, as you said, used to be this terribly
scary. It's a scary word.
It was.
I think it still is, and I hope to break down those myths if 30 women go through this program and they're now advocates for this program. When we bring it back next time, they'll tell their friends, and it's a movement, right? So after that session, we actually are doing another session it's a 2-hour session this time, again geared towards ladies, teens, men, doesn't matter. And we're going to learn how to code virtual reality, which is so cool. I've never done this one. So this is a new course that they're offering. I'm super excited because as you've ever put on a VR set, whether it's Oculus, it's mind-blowing. We're traveling the world now using virtual reality. We are using it in healthcare. They're testing virtual reality uses to help with addiction. So imagine someone with a drinking a problem or a gambling problem, and you can put them in a situation virtually. It's amazing to see this technology and how it can be used for good. So I think that's going to be a really cool session. So there's still spots available. And that one again is just is on again Tuesday, October 22nd. That one is from 4 to 6. Everything is happening at the coolest space in Chatham-Kent when it comes to innovation, which is SOAR Innovation. So I took flight this morning. It was wonderful. They have an amazing team, and it's awesome. Again, such a good space to have here.
And I'm going to be pushing that out on our social media channels. So it's already there.
Cool.
But we're going to do a little extra push soon. So
well, I think we're doing good on registration so far, and really we have not pushed it, so that's good.
So people know space is limited.
Yes.
There's only so much room in there.
Yes.
So
and it's a rare opportunity, right? I mean, hopefully we hope to bring Codemobile down, but they are servicing a large geography. But it's something to think about is who could help lead a Canada Learning Code chapter here in Chatham-Kent. I know we had a young woman, Sarah Rohde, who started the one in Windsor. So this could prompt having a Canada Learning Code chapter here. So there's lots of things that can come out of it, and that's the beauty of putting people in the same room is magic happens.
I've got somebody in mind for the Chatham one. So
we won't say that person's name.
I won't say Katie on this, but she already knows.
Perfect.
So, okay. I can't believe we are so flying in time.
But remember...
we still have a third pillar.
We do have a third pillar. I was just going to go back. Luckily, I had coffee this morning. Third pillar is, you know what, I always say it's kind of the fluffy part, but it's actually so pivotal, is the storytelling, is being an organization that literally champions technology innovation and broadcasts that and tells the story. It's so important for our regions to tell our story.
Absolutely.
As I continue to hear, I didn't know that was happening. And I hear this all the time. And I go, what if people knew what was happening? Would people be leaving? Would look at, again, that magic that could happen if people knew more about the great things. I was just talking this morning with an ag tech individual from Chatham about when you think of the ag community and John Deere in this case, there's a lot of technical jobs in that space where people don't think of it. They think of, if I'm going to work for tech, I'm going to work for Google, I'm going to work for Microsoft, I'm going to work for Amazon, all great companies. Yeah. But there's tech in everything. There's tech in automotive, there's tech in agriculture, there's tech in renewable energy, there's tech in medical. So it's just more about broadcasting all these opportunities again, and being a champion for our companies, because we know, and I know you know this, I see it all over your social media, there are amazing companies doing amazing things and that are growing, and we just need to keep pushing them up because those entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of our communities.
Sorry, you just made me think of something about the previous thing, which is that you have a jobs website.
Yes,
sorry, I'm jumping back a pillar.
I know,
but it ties into this one,
no,
right?
It does.
Bringing those
does.
people,
yeah. So we have a free job board. So for any company that's hiring in a tech space, where you're a tech company hiring, you can post for free on our website. And John Mark, who's our marketing programs director, he builds out a nice marketing social media piece to push that out. So I do like to say we're not an employment agency, but we provide a tool for these companies to help, to connect with other tech individuals. And I think that's a nice thing is we're almost 10 years old, and this is a long-term game. This isn't like a short-term whim. You're going to diversify the economy and everything's going to be rosy and perfect, rainbows, right? We're building these communities, and we're slowly starting to build the same here, and that community is happening online through social media. It's happening in person at these events. It's, we have like thousands of people on our mailing list, all again, hungry to learn about what's going on in my community, and it's so pivotal for talent to do it, for companies to do it, and for parents, right? For them to see our regions, we have been branded with some bad branding. I know in Windsor I can't even say on this podcast some of the things we've been called.
Don't even say.
But again, all those things personally fuel me to just want to fight back harder. Yeah. And just like we saw happen in Detroit, is this city that literally hit rock bottom.
Yes.
And is now this leader of mobility. So now they're considered like the autonomous state, right? They're leading the way in autonomous vehicles, patents and engineers and investments. They're hosting Forbes Under 30 this year in late October. They host the World Championship in FIRST Robotics. The auto show is moving to the summer. Like, amazing stuff. And I think we are poised to do great things. And again, but always being in mind that we can't forget to connect to those super cities because it's important.
Absolutely.
So, let's build our cities, but let's try to connect our entrepreneurs and our talent to these larger ecosystems to then bring it back to our ecosystems.
Yeah. I'm going to jump topics a little bit on you. Adam Castle is now coming down on the 3rd Tuesday.
I'm learning all this too. I've got the most entrepreneurial team. It's great. It's all graphic. I came back from vacation or from Toronto, and it was just like, there's this new Tech Tuesday, and I was like, tell me about Tech Tuesday.
But I apologize. We've been having conversations back and forth.
It's something that we've been working on anyway. So I'm glad to see this. The consistency to come here and work with companies.
And he's been great to work with in this sense. So he's over at SOAR now, as you know. Every Tuesday, people can book him up. And I don't know if he told you about this part. I feel I'm telling you about this. This
is what's beautiful about the team is we have made, and you know this, and I'm saying this to followers and listeners from Chatham-Kent. We, over a year ago, really committed to being out here more, but understanding we ourselves are we have a shortage of resources, but we made an effort to ensure that we were here more often, that we talked more, and I'm really pleased at, we're now at our 4th or 5th tech night. I'm also pleased to say we have this, every month we'll be here at SOAR Innovation for Tech Tuesdays, where Adam will be talking about different themes, I think, every month. And also, I'm really proud of our new board. We have now 4 members from the Chatham-Kent community. So I'm going to try to remember. So Kit Moore is our new treasurer. Jamie McGrail has joined our board. We have Bill Johnson, who's joined our board from Scribendi. And we also have Dave Cullen from Integris. So again, those are strategic decisions that the board made is, we're committing to being, not just Windsor, Essex, Chatham-Kent. So in addition to, trying to include in the newsletter, on social media, you've been, again, a huge asset for us. And I truly believe there's been this partnership. And even with SOAR Innovation, and what I loved today leaving is Gaurav was like, I said, thanks for letting me use the space. He said, this is your space. And I felt like, even though it's a few words, those are really important because we're never going to get anywhere as a region without building partnerships. The future of everything is on partnerships. And I'm just so pleased that when we have tech nights, I'm always amazed, and I've said this publicly, council comes out, the mayors come out, the companies come out. Like, I'm just blown away. And the fact that you have a privately funded incubator, accelerator center, I hope everyone realizes how unique that is.
It really is.
So again, I'm saying congratulating this community for the efforts that they're putting in, and to know that this is a long-term game. SOAR may not be full in the first month, but it's going to take time. But those spaces, those co-working innovation centers are critical. And you see the success of them with, in other regions. And there's something, again, I'm using the word magic a lot today.
It's the word of the day.
Should be wearing my Harry Potter, invisibility cloak or something. Something happens. It's magical when you put a bunch of entrepreneurs in one room. And a lot of people don't understand that because they're not in this space. But I've been in this space for 10 years. I've traveled all over North America. And I see it. I see these companies tap someone on the shoulder and be like, hey, have you ever done this? Who are you using for your insurance? Who did you do to build this platform? Or and it's just this, it's so amazing when you put people together.
It really is.
It is.
So I can't get into all of the details on this, but I'm going to let you know.
I feel like there's
this is awesome. MPV Wi-Fi, you know them.
Yes, they are part of our Scale Up. Yes,
part of your Scale Up program. Yeah. Watch for things in October. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Today, just so everyone knows, I'm learning about all these amazing companies that are starting and growing. MPV Wi-Fi, and I believe he won the Young Entrepreneur Award. Amazing. And again, we all can help these companies. And sometimes it's just liking their Facebook pages or knowing about them and connecting the dots, right? So that's exciting. So
well, you did a little more than just liking their Facebook page. Last year, they were down at one of your sessions, and they were you were a big part of their growth and development.
Yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to you and WEtech for helping MPV.
And listen, that program would not happen without, first off, the province who funds us. We're not 100% funded by the government, but about 75%. Libro Credit Union is the key pillar to that program as well. They are the funders of the big prize that goes out. So for those listening, Libro Scale Up is a once a year scale up cohort. It's a 4-month sprint. We take 5 companies, and at the end of it, they pitch for that $10,000 cash. And MPV Wi-Fi was one of our
so close.
Yeah. So it was tough.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even looking at this year, so November will be our pitch session. We have some really strong companies. It's kind of an ag tech cohort this year. We have 4 ag tech companies and 1 manufacturing company. So it's going to be interesting. So, but again, we want to see more Chatham-Kent companies in that. So
absolutely.
Usually we launch applications starting in July and August. So again, as we look, before we know it, summer will be here. So keep an eye out for that, because it's not, I always said too, the cash is the cherry on top. It's literally the $15,000-$20,000 that you get in services. And we, like this year, Adam has brought in some serious heavy hitters in ag tech, because these companies now we're seeing, they're not just idea stage, they are full-blown sales, right? Actually, one company in our portfolio that's not part of the scale-up cohort, called Bin Sentry, they do a grain bin monitoring system. They're actually out of Kitchener-Waterloo, but they came to WEtech more for expertise in the regional ag tech community, as well as manufacturing. They just won Forbes Thrive Ag Tech.
Really?
They were in Indianapolis just a couple weeks ago. I think it was called Thrive Ag Tech competition. Don't quote me on that, but they took home $100,000 in investment, and they're going to be bringing pitching, or at least presenting, at the Forbes Under 30, and they will get a feature in Forbes. So there's these amazing companies, and what's cool just about that, because I know we're running out of time, is we're seeing companies from Toronto and Waterloo come to our regions, and I heard that's happening already at Soar Innovation, because of our expertise in manufacturing, because of our expertise in ag tech. But I think most, at least what we're seeing in Windsor, is this gateway to the U.S. market. They can literally still be a Canadian company and still kind of have their meetings and stuff. And as they're looking to expand, they can work with partners that we have, like Tech Town Detroit. And there's just this, again, we know we can't be Toronto, nor do we want to be Toronto. We need to be this region that does have this uniqueness in these sectors, as well as a U.S. market that most companies need to access to scale.
42 North.
Amazing. Pat's awesome. And he's been so engaged with not only WEtech, but Epicenter. He was speaking at an event there, and it's been awesome. He's a great company.
He has a big dream to turn the 401, the southwest corridor of the 401, into like this innovation tech corridor. He has this big dream, and I am totally supporting him in that. So
I've always said the 401, as much as it's I think there's so much construction now, but like, what a perfect road to test autonomous vehicles. It's like, it's a very boring space, but as cars become, think of the future of vehicles, Ford's working with esports now. And why is that, right? The car's going to become an entertainment piece, right? So, and we know who could help do all the videos and stuff for all that. So you have some great companies, and I've toured Chatham many years ago with your ECDev team, and I was just blown away at like the ethanol side and even the ag tech side. I'm still learning about the breadth of like expertise you have in terms of what you're producing. And in fact, I will say this, my biggest regret was not coming to the plow last year. IPM. I saw it happening, and I remember seeing all these cool things, and I said, how was I not here? So that'll go down as one of my missed opportunities.
Some of the tech that was at that event was mind-blowing, especially in the greenhouse industry. Seeing how they you picture a greenhouse being single level. Well, they're doing multi-levels now. They're expanding into this, and everything works on the main level because they're moving around and just and robots and
Well, there's a company that I remember following, and a lot of it's because Forbes has pushed it out. But it's called FarmWise. It's a company, a Silicon Valley tech company that's working with Roush Racing, in Michigan, and it's basically this cool autonomous tractor that does weed pulling. And, it's funny because hopefully they'll be listening to this, but I've approached them to say, listen, like, you don't realize what we have from a testing ground here, right? And as we think, a lot of tech is happening in more tech, areas like the Valley or Toronto. They still need a farm. They still need the community to test it. So I think that's an economic development opportunity that I'm sure both economic development, Chatham-Kent and Windsor-Essex are doing, is how do you bring these tech companies and plug them into the users, right? Like I'm just blown away at what people don't know, going back to our region of how rare it is to have this much expertise in agriculture and manufacturing. We build things and we grow things, and we do it really, really, really well.
Yes,
on absolutely. A global stage, not just a provincial stage.
Okay. We could talk all day.
I know, sorry.
No, it's okay. I realize at some point we have to probably wrap this up.
No. How do you wrap this amazing conversation?
I don't know, because I want to so go down there. I just heard about a company that is going to be looking at entirely automating an entire section in the ag industry for their business. They've been in business for 20-something years, and they're looking at how they can automate one section so they can grow and develop another area of their business and bring on some more employees. Because automation is actually going to let them hire more people.
Oh boy. I was don't ask me the question, will robots steal jobs?
It's the opposite. It's the opposite effect. They're bringing in automation so they can free up one area to enhance another area. And I think that is so cool because...
That's a really interesting topic. Automation is something that I think everyone's excited for, but everyone's also terrified for, because there's multiple of like the future of work means robots take jobs, right? But there's also the other side of the story is that all of these new technical roles or this automation is creating more needs and jobs in technical roles. So I think where we have to pay attention to is we are in the fourth industrial revolution. It's going to happen just like it happened, 3 times over. In fact, according to a very high a tech leader in Toronto just this week, there's even discussions that the fifth industrial revolution is coming, right? So just when we thought we're in 4, there's already talk about 5.
All right, what's 5?
I don't even know. It's like fully customized, individualized data, right? When we think of everything's going to be customized for us, right? So, but on the automation front, new jobs will be created. But I think what we need to be mindful of is this word that we're going to hear a lot is upskilling. Is we need to continuously, jobs will be lost. But how do we upskill those individuals into new roles, right? One of the cool things, I was listening to a podcast, it was Kara Swisher, who I love. She runs Recode, Decode, Can't Compete here. This is awesome too. But there's and I can't remember, I think it's the mayor of New York that's running for president. I can't remember his name right now. But one of his platforms is building a robot tax, actually.
Yes. And
you think about, and actually it was really interesting because you think about a person, they pay, their income taxes, they pay EI. A robot doesn't pay that. A robot doesn't pay that back. So, it's something that I've heard and, through the grapevine of like, how is government going to deal with, this automated future and that, robots aren't paying into paying taxes, right? So it'll be interesting, but I always go back to, I get this question often and I say I'm not an expert in this, but if you go to the World Economic Forum, every year they put together a report called The Future of Work or The Future of Jobs. It's a beautiful report put together by experts in the world, and it'll really open your eyes to I think we're quick to judge with this one. I think we're just all learning, right? We're learning. So read this report and read it for reasons of not to be terrified, but also to be proactive and also to show your kids where the industries are going to be in the future. And I know that's a tough one, but things are changing, and we have to be ready for it.
I could chat all day.
I know.
Okay.
We're geeks. We're geeks.
If
I'm
you
a proud
had
geek.
one thing that you want to finish off and share, I know I did not give you any prep questions, but what's something?
Man.
What's the last thing you want to share with us, or do you want to just give a plug for WEtech?
No, you know what?
By the way,
so
WEtech
obviously we
Alliance.
want to do a plug for WEtech, but WEtech represents, like, again, I always said, like, we rather promote all the companies and people doing great things than ourselves, right? Our biggest asset is our companies and the people we work with. So I'd say if my plug would be, if we want to build this tech community, we need people to come out. So, if we have an event, we want to see all these people come out. So come out to our events. Don't be intimidated by the word tech. I think that's the scary part, is tech is... We're all enabled by tech in some capacity. So some sessions will be more technical, but when it comes to these workshops we're putting on, our tech nights, we want them to be open to people in tech and people interested in tech and people who just love tech. And I think the other piece when we talk about economic development and the future of our cities is every person has a role to play in economic development.
Absolutely.
And I go back to, most people know me for social media, right? And I go back to, I'm not necessarily tweeting about my lunch or what I'm wearing, or it's about promoting the amazing things that people are doing and a lot of the storytelling. So I think everyone has the capacity to talk about the companies, to review or promote a local business to a large company that's hiring. So we all have the capacity and a role to play in this, building our communities. And that includes, again, that partnership piece. The future will be created on partnerships, from citizens to government to industry. And the more we can bring them together and have a unified vision, and again, to not forget about storytelling, I think all regions, like our region, will do very well. So
I should make you a T-shirt that says the future will be created on partnerships.
I read that somewhere. I can't even take that credit, but it's so true. Like, think of last comment, but think about the future of cars and autonomous vehicles. A car company can't just come to a city and launch. They need all the infrastructure in place. And the future of vehicles is going to require partnerships from municipalities, from citizens, from investors, from realtors. Like, it's just beautiful, but a lot of work. And I think that's the future. Everything's connected. Everything's integrated. And the more we look at those partnerships is I think, critical. And partnership is work, but collaboration is multiplication. So... yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get you back.
I'm going to have a lot of shirts after the end of this.
It's
going to be, my shirt's going to just say, Andrew, I truly cannot thank you enough. This is not, he did not tell me to do this, but you don't realize how one person can transform a city, right? And I told you this, and I said I'd say this to you off mic or on mic, is every time I talk about Chatham, they're like, Andrew's doing great things. And I know you have a team behind you, so I want to thank Stuart and Taylor and Rosemarie and everyone that's part of your team. And I know I forgot people. But what you're doing right now with this podcast, what you've done for WEtech and helping us expand here, it is not... it is completely appreciated, and I hope Chatham-Kent knows what they have in you and the hours you put into what you do.
There's a few,
yeah.
but no, it's awesome. Thank you, I appreciate that.
No,
That's
of course,
good.
No.
Yeah. Well, now I'm all blushing and stuff, and trying to figure out how to. Maybe I should edit this part. No, I'm not going to edit this part.
No.
Okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
This was awesome. I got to listen to my podcast driving up here, got to hang out with Soar, and got to finish the day. But keep an eye out if you're listening. Tech Night will be returning tentatively November 5th. We're working on some themes. And again, if you have any insight or feedback for us, both ECDev and WEtech, let us know on social media. Let us know through email. Go to our websites. Connect on both newsletters, social media, because that's really where the up-to-date information is coming from.
Okay, your website?
www.wetech-alliance.com. WEtech Alliance on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Facebook.
Yeah, and we are investck.ca. And hey, we're on all of those platforms as well. The Facebooks and of the world. What do we say? We're on the internets. Yeah. I think that's the.
You can Google us.
You can Google us.
Yeah.
We're there.
The internet's celebrating 50 years coming up, which is pretty mind blowing when you think about it. I think it's in October. 50 years since the internet.
Since the first.
Or the World Wide Web, I guess.
Yeah.
First crazy.
Packet of data was sent around.
Crazy. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Andrew.
Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. There we are. What is it? Oh, if Anthony was here, he would say, "Stay classy, Chatham-Kent."
Oh yeah, we need like a
that's his
punchline.
thing. That's his thing. So
And this light on means it's on, right?
that
Okay.
should mean it's on. And
Okay, and just when I see the word, I see